Questions for Frank?
Morgan.
Why wouldn't this bill pass?
The smarter sentencing.
Yeah.
Well, it was introduced first in 2013, and it did actually pass both House and Senate committees, but it ran out of time before it could be sent to the floor for consideration, and that's mostly due to resistance from some politicians that don't think it's a good idea. A notable opponent is Senator Grassley, who is the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, and so he has been resisting the bill. And then the bill was reintroduced in 2015, but since Senator Grassley is the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, which the bill needs to go through, he gets to set the agenda for the bills and can delay it indefinitely for being considered until it runs out of time. It actually only has about a 2% chance of passing. Mac.
Do you have any statistics on like the connection between the reform drug policies in states like Colorado and Washington who have legalized marijuana and criminal activity?
No, I didn't research that, but when states and countries both that have legalized the use of drugs, they don't have as high of drug use rates, if that makes sense. They or criminalized drug use rates. So like countries for sure that have more lax policies, they don't have as much of a problem with it, and they're not like the U.S., which is one of the more harsher countries, does have a leading crime or drug abuse rate, whereas places like Amsterdam and Croatia, they don't, and they have really lax, and they've decriminalized drug use to a point. Mr. Howard.
Yeah, Franny, I'm just kind of curious. You don't do research on drug mandatory sentencing, correct? Like specific to drugs, or more general to the mandatory?
More general.
Do you see like mandatory sentencing on drugs being different than, say, another habitual crime, such as like habitual thievery, robbery, something where someone is constantly doing the same crime?
Do I see?
Like, do you see a difference between like these drug-related sentencing issues and sentencing issues for other non-violent crimes?
No, I haven't seen a lot of concerns over other crimes that even if they're non-violent, that hurt other people or take their property. Right now it's mostly drug offenders, specifically because it's up in the air whether it should be considered a crime or whether they should just be helped. Jake.
What's usually the minimum sentencing for a first-time drug offender?
It varies between states. In Minnesota, it can be 5 years and a $10,000 fine. There are some states that aren't as harsh, like New Hampshire and Rhode Island, but other states like Oklahoma, for one, and Arizona and Texas, one woman got like 60 years in prison or maybe life for purchasing $35 worth of drugs to an undercover cop, from an undercover cop. Sister Reg.
Franny, did you notice in your research, is there a disproportionate amount of, let's say, people of one race versus another, or of income versus another that do get into prison due to drug use?
Yeah, I didn't focus on it, but yes, there's a disproportionate amount of African Americans and Latinos that are in prison for drug crimes and that are more often arrested for them than white people, and it's also higher and lower class too. The lower class people will also be arrested more frequently.
Sorry, just to follow up to that question. Just flipping around the argument a little bit, isn't mandatory sentencing designed to prevent that type of disparity between races? Like, isn't that the theory behind it, that it doesn't matter what gender you are, what race you are, that you're getting the same sentencing?
Oh yeah, so once they're picked up, the sentencing doesn't change. But being arrested in the first place, okay, that's where the disparity is coming from. Mr. Donovan.
Brandy, you commented a number of times about nonviolent drug use, I'm wondering if the people of Juarez, Mexico, or Cali, Colombia, think that drug usage is nonviolent.
No, because probably not, because it's led to a lot of violence. Mexico for sure has decriminalized a lot of drugs just in an attempt to reduce the violence within their own country that's produced by the cartels. So no, they would consider it in close association with violence.
So yeah, I think that, I got one other question. I think the follow-up for the audience for Mr. Dowland's question is that a lot of people, casual drug users or whatever, are not thinking about what's going on at another level of that process. Our local judge, retired Judge Dennis Shalene, is a big proponent of sort of your thesis. He would like to see more rehabilitation for drug users, and also thinks that he's written about how he thinks that you don't really need a judge if you have all automatic sentences. But did you see any programs in Minnesota or around the country that would be sort of model programs for moving forward on this issue, or that sort of follow what you're saying?
There is a school, Phoenix Academy, that where it's targeted towards adolescents, so juvenile offenders can go to this school and this rehabilitation center as an alternative to prison, which makes them more motivated to complete the program, and they have to show effort in order to not go to prison. And this specific program has about a 10% rate of failure, which is good among rehab programs, and programs like those are what I would like to see, where they integrate rehabilitation with education, and so it provides them with options upon release so that they can create a life for themselves that they'll be motivated to sustain through their sobriety.
One final question, and I don't know if this is connected to Senator Grassley or not, but did you see anything in your research about, I know there's been a lot about the prison industry. In other words, for some states and some locations, prison is a big business, and that there's an incentive to keep our population at 2 million or above or whatever. Did that come out at all?
No, but our prisons, for the most part, are at maximum capacity, so we would be building more prisons, and I guess if there's an industry for that, then people would like that, but I see it as unnecessary expense.
Okay, thanks, man.